Bonjour à tous. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today we are going to start talking about a new chapter, Chapitre 6, Bon Appetit. So today we are going to talk about food and things with food, like liking certain foods or liking certain cuisines, and how to express whether or not you like that food or don't like that food. So with that, on va commencer. Let's start. En premier, first off, we have américain or américaine, like the food, comme la nourriture. So we have américain ou américaine. If you could say, j'aime la nourriture américaine, I like American food. You could also say, j'aime la nourriture française, or j'aime la cuisine américaine, I like American cuisine, etc., etc. So go ahead and repeat this word after me. We have américain, américaine. Nice. All right. Up next is l'assiette, l'assiette. So go ahead and say this word after I do. L'assiette. Nice. And I went through and I added in, you can see after l'assiette, there's an F in parentheses. That just means that word is feminine. So that's going to come in handy later on. So I tried to put in there whether or not that word is feminine or masculine. So l'assiette is plate. Up next is, say, mon favori. It's my favorite. Le bacon. We have le bacon. C'est très facile. It's very easy. Looks just like the word in English, just pronounced a little bit different. So go ahead and say this word after I do. Le bacon. Nice. All right, this one is every French person's favorite. It's a staple in France. La baguette. La baguette. So say this word with me. La baguette. Nice. La baguette is that long French bread. Oftentimes, when you're walking in France, you'll see people walking home with une baguette, with a baguette. A lot of the times it's used as like breakfast or lunch. Sometimes for breakfast, the French will take this and cut it in half and kind of make it into a toast, which we'll talk about later on. All right. Our next word is la banane. La banane. That's très facile. That's pretty easy. Looks very similar to the word in English. So say this word with me. La banane. Nice. La banane, banana. Up next, we have le beurre. Le beurre. And a trick to say this word, because it can be kind of hard, is to say beurre, but put like a little French accent on it. So we have le beurre. And another helpful hint, when you have that R-E at the end of a word, you make like a R sound, like so it might be helpful if you try to practice that. So say this word with me, le beurre. Nice, le beurre. All right, up next is le bowl. Le bowl. That one's very easy, almost spelled the same, but definitely pronounced the same. So le bowl. Nice. All right. This one is not necessarily my favorite, but a lot of people drink it here and in France, is le café. Le café is coffee, and when you have le café au lait, is a coffee with milk. So the French don't really use creamer like we do here in the United States. They use a lot of milk and sugar, so they kind of make their own creamer. So let's say these two words together. We're going to first start off saying coffee. So we're going to say le café. So say that word after I do, le café. Nice. And next we're going to say au lait. That last part, au lait. So say that word after I do, au lait. Nice. All right, so we have le café au lait, which is coffee with milk. Next is les céréales. So les céréales is cereal, les céréales. Remember, anytime we have that accent aigu, it's going to point upwards. So les céréales is going to make our word go up as well. Also, les céréales is feminine. So we have une céréale, so a cereal. Mon céréale, ma céréale favorite, c'est frosted flakes. J'adore la céréale frosted flakes. Frosted flakes. I love frosted flakes. So les céréales. Go ahead and say this word with me. Les céréales. Nice. All right, up next, say le chocolat chaud. Le chocolat chaud. Le chocolat, we should review from French 1, or should remember from French 1, means chocolate, and chaud is hot. We should remember that from last chapter. So le chocolat chaud, hot chocolate. So go ahead and say this word with me, le chocolat chaud. All right, moving on. We have la confiture. La confiture. And la confiture is jam. And a little fun fact, this Bon Maman jam that's in this picture here, you can buy at Meijer, and it is the best jam I have ever had in my entire life. Highly recommend that you go check it out. But Bon Maman is the name of that brand. It's really good. They have lots of different flavors. So la confiture is jam. Go ahead and say this word with me, la confiture. Oui, la confiture, jam. Up next is le couteau, le couteau. So le couteau is a knife, and I have a little helpful hint on how to pronounce this one. So it's pronounced couteau. So if you say coo, like you coo at a baby, coo, and then you say toe, like the toe on your foot. So couteau is knife in French. Go ahead and try to say that word. Le couteau. Nice. All right. Next is le croissant. Le croissant. I'm sure you've seen these before. You might have even eaten them. In English, we call them a croissant, but in French, it's croissant. So that first part is croix, and then the last part is sant, like S-A-N-T, sant. So croissant is a croissant. And croissants are very, very, very distinguishable. They're usually really light and really flaky, and they usually fall apart when you try to eat them. All right, next we have la cuillère. La cuillère. This is spoon. Now, this one can be hard to pronounce just because it's a little funky. So we're going to go through and say this one together, but we're going to break it down by parts. So that first part is going to be cuit. So cuit. And then the last part is air. Air. So we have cuillère. Oui, cuillère. La cuillère, spoon. Up next is la fourchette. La fourchette is fork. La fourchette. Go ahead, say that word after I do. La fourchette. Nice. Up next, say mon favori. It's my favorite, le jus d'orange. We should already remember that orange is orange. So le jus means juice, and d'orange, orange. So we have le jus d'orange is orange juice. Let's go ahead and say that word together, le jus d'orange. Nice job. All right, up next are les œufs. Les œufs. Les œufs. So les œufs are eggs. Now this is if you have more than one egg. If you have just one egg, it's enough. Enough. And a little way to say that is kind of like say enough, but with a little accent. So enough. All right, and les œufs are plural. Les œufs are plural. So go ahead and say that word with me, les œufs. Nice. Next is la nappe. La nappe is tablecloth. La nappe, tablecloth. So this one's pretty easy to say, la nappe. Nice. Next is le pamplemousse. This is my favorite French word, le pamplemousse. Le pamplemousse is grapefruit. I used to love eating grapefruit in the morning for breakfast. You just sprinkle a little bit of sugar on it and you eat it right off of the rind. It's really good. Le pamplemousse. So let's go through and say that word together. Le pamplemousse. Nice job. All right, up next is le poivre. Le poivre. So le poivre is pepper. Go ahead, try to say that word for me. Le poivre. Excellent. Up next, le verre. Le verre. Le verre is the glass. So le verre, glass. This is important to remember because we're going to have another word come up here that's very similar to this. So le verre, I'm talking like an actual glass, not a cup. All right, so le verre, a glass. Next, we have la serviette. La serviette. La serviette is napkin. La serviette, napkin. Go ahead and say this word for me. La serviette. Nice job. All right, so that was it for pretty much day one, but we're going to add on some more words because I'm not going to see you for a little bit. So quick review of our words that we already went through. We have américain and américaine, which is American, like the food. Next, we have l'assiette, which is plate. Le bacon, which is bacon. La baguette. La banane. Le beurre. Le bowl. Le café au lait. Les céréales. Le chocolat chaud. La confiture. Le couteau. Le croissant. La cuillère. La fourchette. Le jus d'orange. Les œufs. La nappe. Le pamplemousse. Le poivre. Le verre. La serviette. And so let's add on some new words. So let's start with our new word, le sel. Le sel. So we had le poivre, which meant pepper, and le sel, which means salt. So go ahead and say this word for me, le sel. Nice, salt. Up next, le jus de pomme. So we had already talked about le jus d'orange, which is orange juice. Le jus de pomme is just pretty much the same, but apple juice. So you can take le jus de and add pretty much any fruit afterwards that you'd like to have juice of. So le jus de pomme, apple juice. Up next is le petit déjeuner. Le petit déjeuner. Le petit déjeuner is breakfast. Now, a lot of the time in France, you'll hear kids and adults shorten this and say le petit déj. Le petit déj. So they take off that E-U-N-E-R, that ene, and it's just le petit déj. It's for like an abbreviation for breakfast. So go ahead and say this word with me. We're going to start off with le petit. So I'm going to say it, then you're going to say it. So le petit déjeuner. Nice. Let's say it all together. Le petit déjeuner. Nice job. Le petit déjeuner, breakfast. Up next is le toast. C'est très facile. This one's very easy. Le toast is just toast. Le toast. La tasse. Now, this one was the one that I warned you about when we talked about glass. So we had le verre, which means glass, and la tasse, which means cup. So le verre, which means glass, and la tasse, which means cup. So most of the time, these are smaller and plastic. They don't always have to be plastic, but most of the time, cups are smaller than glasses. So if you ever have a drinking utensil that is smaller, you'll call it a cup. If it's larger, you'll call it a glass. All right. On met le couvert. Now, this is a phrase. On met le couvert is we set the table. On met le couvert, we set the table. So let's try to say this together. We're going to say on met first, and then le couvert. And then we'll say it all together. All right? So I'll say it and you say it. On met le couvert. All right? All together. On met le couvert. Nice. On met le couvert. We set the table. D'habitude. Now, looking at this word, you can kind of probably figure out what it means. But d'habitude means usually. Usually. D'habitude, usually. Like usually I drink orange juice. So usually Or d'habitude, je bois du jus d'orange. I drink orange juice. Up next, we have la tartine. La tartine. And so this is a picture here that I pulled from our book. But this was that toast sandwich that I had talked about earlier with la baguette. And so a lot of times what the French will have for breakfast is une tartine. And it's really just a baguette that's cut in half. And they put butter on the bread. And then they put jam over top of it. So it's really like toast that we have here if you put butter and jam on it. But it has to go in that order. Butter and then jam. And it has to go on a baguette. So la tartine is that baguette with butter and jam. All right. Je prends means I usually have or I'm having. So if you're at a restaurant, you could say je prends le petit déjeuner. I'm having the breakfast. Or you could say je prends un pamplemousse. I'm going to have a grapefruit. You could also say je prends la cuisine américaine. I could have American food, etc., etc. So je prends means I'm having. Go ahead and say this word with me. I'll say it and then you say it. Je prends. Nice job. J'ai faim. This is another phrase. J'ai faim. So j'ai faim means I'm hungry. And remember, in English, we say I am something. But in French, it's I have. That's why you see j'ai. So j'ai faim, which means I have hunger. But in English, we just say I'm hungry. So go ahead and let's say this word together. We're going to say j'ai faim. So I'll say it and then you say it. J'ai faim. Nice job. J'ai faim just means I'm hungry. Next is j'ai soif. J'ai soif. J'ai soif means I'm thirsty. So now we've got j'ai faim, which means I'm hungry, and j'ai soif, which means I'm thirsty. So let's say that last one. J'ai soif. Nice. I'm thirsty. J'ai soif. All right. Encore. I'm sure you've seen this word lots and lots of times before, especially in English. Usually it's said after somebody does like a play or a musical. A lot of people in the audience will shout, encore, encore. And that means that they want it again. So encore means more or again. Especially if you put it in like a question. You could say, encore du lait. Do you want more milk? Or somebody who's a server in France could say, encore des céréales, more cereal. So encore. All right. Tu reprends du lait. So remember we said je prends, which means I'm having, and tu reprends, which means would you like more or do you want more? So tu reprends du lait, do you want more milk? Tu reprends du lait, do you want more milk? Say that word that's in bold for me. So tu reprends. Oui, do you want more? Okay, we're going to skip past that activity, but that is all of the words for today. So when you come back, we're going to go through and review all of these words that we just went through. But c'est-tu et à plus.